I want to talk Dallas Clippers, and I want to get some thoughts on Lakers Denver. But I'm just going to give out prompts, okay? Because I have not watched Lakers Denver because I was on a fucking Sprinter van during that game. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to watch that game later this morning. But just from you guys, takeaways first on Mavs, Clippers, no Kawhi. Zubac with a massive night. Daniel Gafford, and who we've certainly given a lot of love to over the last couple months on this podcast. Not a great game for him. Not a ton of minutes. I want to get into some coverage stuff with the ball denials with Luka and Kyrie. And it felt at times, again, I'm at an airport bar, so I'm not listening, but it felt at times a little triangle and two-ish. Just your takeaways from Mavs Clippers game 1 yesterday.
I think for me, it starts with Zubac for me. It was such a huge game for him. And as someone who is just generally a fan of his and what he's meant for the Clippers, particularly when he's been healthy, like Steve and I have talked about it throughout the year. Like before he had the calf injury in January, I felt like he was defending in an all-defense stuff. Like he was having that kind of year. And one of the subplots of the Clippers season, as they got James Harden, tried to work him in to build more flow. What is Zubac going to look like on the short roll? Like we saw the improvement on the short roll for Zubac. We saw some improvement on the block when he got those touches against mismatches, and defensively he was locked in before the injury. And it's kind of been inconsistent since then. So for him to have this loud of a game 1, and not only have that loud of a game 1, because the box score speaks for itself. 20 and 15 is 20 and 15. But for him to set the tone the way that he did, offensively, putting Daniel Gafford underneath the basket twice within the first 3 minutes of the game. We get the short push shot after a James Harden drive against Luka Doncic. And defensively, his presence at the rim was very important for this Clippers team, as it has been all year long. And I feel like his presence there kind of circled into like what was the most interesting thing for me, which was how the Clippers decided to treat Luka versus how they decided to treat Kyrie. And it was a question that I had heading into the series, like what would they do with Luka, just because he is so good at literally everything. It doesn't matter which coverage he sees. Would there be more of a prioritization on taking Kyrie away? Just because it may be, quote unquote, easier to do so because of the size and because he's just not Luka. And so to see Zubac in a deep drop and sometimes switching against Luka, let's just flatten it out. Luka's going to get his. That's fine. Against Kyrie, we are bringing you up to the level. We are not letting you turn the corner. We're not letting you have fun. We're going to make sure it's not going to be both of y'all dropping 30, even though they ended up with that. But that was after the game was out of hand. But just to see that kind of nuance there, and to see what that meant for the Mavericks offense, that hasn't been a super rim-heavy offense overall. Looked at the drive, 17 drives for Luka with Zubac on the floor in game 1, with 0 shot attempts for Luka at the rim among those 17 drives. Kyrie logged 9 drives all game long in game 1, with 6 of those coming with Zubac on the floor. I just think the game plan nuance was strong, and Zubac really did a great job of setting the tone on both ends. That was my biggest takeaway from that one.
I think to add to Nekias' point, the game plan discipline from the Clippers was key, to where Zubac did get dinged on a couple of those switches, but they weren't afraid to throw him out there. They were okay with the drop against Luka and having Terrence Mann or their wings work and contain and contest. Kyrie, too, on the ball had a great impact in the first quarter, to where I think he only had like 6 field goal attempts in the first half. So you were able to kind of mix that in. It all ties back into Dallas's, I don't want to say issue, but the focus they have to have in the playoffs, where Luka's going to generate offense for other people. Kyrie's going to generate offense for other people. Those guys have to be able to knock down shots or drive closeouts and keep the advantage, and they weren't able to do so. So the Clippers' game plan was able to have more impact because we're making Luka work for these shots. Kyrie's got 2 on the ball. We're able to recover. We don't have to close out and rotate to everyone. And so I thought the Clippers did a really good job of executing. On the other end, I thought James Harden made a lot of quick decisions, which helped him out. And they were able to make Dallas pay for some of the help they were showing. Paul George made quick decisions. I think this is a series, though, where you saw in the second half when Kyrie got more aggressive, was able to split 2 on the ball, was able to attack, get him off ball. If Dallas is able to score more, they can load up defensively, they'll be in a better spot. That's going to be the key. Because if Dallas is able to get Kyrie going again, Luka can still generate the help that he's going to generate. Now the Clippers have to execute in the half court. It becomes tricky. So I'm very interested to see the adjustments Dallas makes going into the next game.
Love it.